Okay, so there's a couple things I wanted to drop into a reflection because, well, it's been a little bit of time since I put one down, but I think this qualifies as a really good reflection. So I don't know if this has ever happened to you, but you're sitting in a staff meeting and somebody is listening to something being presented, and maybe this person has been teaching for a little bit longer than you, and inevitably you get into this conversation around how these things come in cycles, and it's kind of the same old, just kind of packaged in a new way, but at the heart of it, it's still the same thing. Well, I really dig the moments in teaching where that's proven to be completely untrue to me. Like, the thing that I'm actually experiencing is brand new. I've never really seen it before. I've never heard of it before. And it doesn't necessarily mean that it doesn't exist. It hasn't come across my desktop, or it hasn't come through my social media feed. And today I experienced an activity in the school that really, it kind of excited me because it was new. It is new, and I'd never seen this done before. So to shape it up a little bit, I'm going to show you first this poster that was hung on my door today. So this quarantine sign was part of a larger activity in the school where the class so I'm in a high school, and the course in itself is a healthcare course. And part of their culminating task, or the end of the semester task, is that they are doing some viral mapping. So let me lay out this activity a little bit. So at the staff meeting, the teacher that is facilitating this course had asked ahead of time for staff members who want to participate in this activity, which basically came down to, you'd be given a small vial of liquid. There's two different styles of the vial. One that is just straight up water, and then there's another one that has some sort of a reactive agent in it. So the activity goes a little something like this. The students in this classroom show up to classes today. So they are walking around the halls. All of them are dressed in the sort of like head to toe yellow hazmat garb. So their faces are covered, they have the visors on. It's sort of like a full kind of balaclava and the whole bodysuit, gloves and everything. They have their clipboards, and they have their testing chemicals. So when they show up at the classroom, they're asking different teachers, so it's the teachers that are participating, a series of questions, and they also want to test your vial. So the vial standing in, I guess, for a blood sample. So there were different teachers that had different vials. I had one that had been set up with the chemical in it that when you actually, whatever they put into it, I don't know, the vial in itself turned this bright color pink. To which then they started to ask me some secondary questions around who I had interacted with, if I were feeling any symptoms, and then they made some suggestions as far as healthcare suggestions, as far as, I should get in touch with my doctor, and it was really cool, and it felt really real. And ahead of time, what this teacher had done was emailed out to the teachers, those that were infected and those that weren't, a script. So I knew ahead of time that I was infected, but I also knew ahead of time that I had interactions with certain people. So what the students had to do is they had to match up timelines and interactions to try and find patient zero. And throughout the whole thing, I thought to myself, this is really quite awesome, because it struck a couple chords for me. One, I thought, what a great activity for the students to participate in, especially considering the course, a healthcare course. But for them to sort of walk the halls, to wear the gear, to be able to do the testing, to be able to participate as fully in what looked like a real life scenario as possible, yet they were able to do it in the schools. And I've talked with other teachers before. Roland Chidiak is one, talking about how useful hallways can be and whole school learning can be. And this activity really did bring to light the opportunity that exists in a school. And often when I'm designing, I'll speak specifically for myself, when I'm designing lessons for my students to play with, and this is even from back in the day when I was thinking about cooking and teaching culinary classes, there was a natural kind of connection between me doing stuff in the classroom and how I could share it out to the school. The activities didn't have to stay just in the classroom. I hadn't seen a new variation on that until today. So for example, for me, we would do catering. So I could actually teach in the classroom and then provide that food for an activity out in the halls. I guess another example could be in a drama class, then they would do performances for the schools. But I don't know if this is really something that has been fleshed out in a way where every single department could participate in some way, where the halls, the other classes, teachers could somehow participate in the learning of someone's classroom. And I really wanted to bring it to light. And, if you message me and reach out to me, I'll connect you with the instructor that did it. I don't know where this instructor is in their sort of digital learning, so I want to make sure that I get approval ahead of time to connect this person with you. But it would be pretty cool to see more activities like this, where the hallways and the libraries and the alcoves and whole school spaces are used, and we're getting outside of the class in order to participate in learning. Where I started with this post was that idea of seeing something new. And I just want to, leap off from there at the end of this post of how important I think it is to keep your mind open to new ways of learning within the school. And when asked to participate in another classroom's learning, it really is remarkable. I really enjoyed this activity. It's got me reinvigorated and thinking about how in my current portfolio, the classes that I'm teaching, how can I get them demonstrating their learning and their knowledge outside of my classroom, where I'm not the one that's solely assessing the big picture product that they're going to make. How can I get them connected with the whole school and feel as if the things that they're learning in the class do make a difference, do have an impact, and are interesting to students outside of my classroom? So that's my reflection. I'm excited to try thinking about how I'm going to rejig this, because to be honest, I used to think a lot like this when I was just teaching hospitality, but now that I've moved into teaching learning strategies, and I'm also working in an ASD community class, I haven't given a lot of thought about how I can design activities in the classroom that will connect with student life outside the classroom. But I think that's going to be some pretty valuable thinking. I know that's going to be some valuable thinking moving forward. And I appreciate your time. Thanks for listening.